بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مقطع اليوم راح يكون مختلف. راح يكون كامل بالإنجليزي لأن اليوم راح يكون عندنا مقابلة مع شخص مميز. فراح أحط لكم ترجمة بس من الآن ورايح كامل المقطع راح يكون بالإنجليزي. Ladies and gentlemen, today isn't gonna be like any other video on my channel because it's gonna be a very special video because I'm gonna have a chat, or you can call it an interview, with one of the most like talented cinematographers in the independent wrestling scene. He's mostly known for his work with Deadlock Pro Wrestling, DPW, which, as you all know, is my favorite promotion in the world right now. Uh, Tony D.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that intro. That means a lot to me that you think of me in such high regard like that. I thank you for asking me to come on here.
I mean, you are very talented. I mean, come on, every edit that's about a DPW match or a DPW show has your footage. You're talented.
Thank you. And I'm glad that they uh saw the same thing for so long and that they've had me on board as long as they have. I've been there over 3 of the 4 years that they've been around. So it's been a great time.
I mean, since you started it, I want to ask you, like, how did they contact you first? Like, how did Tony D and DPW happen?
So I listened to the podcast, so I remember on the day that they announced that it was going to be a company and then they were dropping all the social media. I like stopped what I was doing. I even like paused the podcast, like went on to Twitter to find them, and they only had like maybe couple hundred followers at the time. And then I had messaged them basically with my portfolio, but I didn't hear anything. So I was just thinking like, oh, they're in North Carolina anyway. Like I'm based out of Boston, so yeah, I was just like, it's a little far. I get it. They might want to use somebody a little closer to home, and they were using Pro Wrestling Cinema, a man named Dan, and we worked together in GCW. And through forming that relationship, he eventually got signed to AEW, and he couldn't fulfill the DPW events anymore. So he sent me a message and said, um, hey, you should be getting a message from a guy named James about this promotion DPW because I can't work them anymore. And, obviously I already knew who James was, but I was just kind of taking it with a grain of salt. I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever you say. And then a couple weeks later, I got a follow and a message basically saying like I was recommended to them from Dan, and they asked me like, what's your rate? Where do you fly out of? All that jazz, and I was just very taken aback because I didn't think it was actually going to happen. And then yeah, my first DPW show was actually in April of 2022. It was DPW Forever, and they had tried to get me for a couple months after, and it there was a scheduling conflict.
Mm.
But I was afraid that like after the fact that I might have messed up my chances but fast forward to October, and they asked me again, like, do you want to do this World's Strongest show? And I said yes. Like before I said yes to anything else. And then I got on, and apparently I did so good that they just gave me the schedule for the rest of the year, and then it just kept going and going and going until I was basically a official crew from there.
I mean, it's a great story, and I think that we all were shocked when they first announced that they're doing a wrestling promotion in 2021. But someone asked, like, when did you know that DPW was going to be special? Like, was it from the first day they announced it, or after you did your first show?
um when I came back at that World's Strongest show, because I think by DPW Forever, they because they started in December of 21, so they had only been running for 4 months, and they were still like working out some kinks, getting some things done. At that point, I was just happy to work with the guys that I grew up watching on like YouTube and listening to the podcast and all that stuff. I'm like, this is so cool, and for them to take a chance on me and bring me out all the way from where I'm from just to based off a recommendation just to see if I did all right. And originally they just wanted me to just get them footage. Like they were just like, "Hey, could you film ringside? Like we're going to use these for like things in the future. Maybe get some interviews backstage, all that stuff." And I was the one who offered like hey, like I do these videos, like these highlight-esque videos, like I can do that if you want me to. And so they're like, yeah, sure, you could do that. And then that's where the first DPW Tony D joint came from. And it was I did it to I think it was Dead by My Chemical Romance. And then everybody was just like,
That's
whoa.
insane. That's
Like
insane.
everybody was just like I had to make sure it was like fast paced, like high octane, like not just with the footage but the editing. And yeah, they were pretty impressed by it, thankfully. And when I came back a few months later for that World's Strongest show, I just noticed that like the roster improved, the production improved, the setup, the just the way the show was going, the crowds, like everything had gotten better. And it was during, I want to say, Jungle Kiona versus, I want to say it was Sumi Sakai. I really don't want to mess that up because there was two women's no. I'm sorry. It was Jungle Kiona versus Emi Sakura. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure Sumi faced high end that day. But yeah, it was that match that I was like from the entrances to the hot start to the how hot the crowd was. Um, they like I remember just being there and like kind of being on the verge of tears as the match was starting because like I knew that like you said like I knew that I was in a special place. I knew that this was a special match. I specifically remember Jungle's entrance being like super crazy, and I posted that alone because the lighting and the angling of it. Shout out to Ray's lighting for that because they just made them look like a superstar. And Emmy, I love Emmy, and
Emmy is great.
yeah, yeah,
Emmy is
just
really
like
good.
yeah, we've been able to form a great relationship over DPW over the years, and just like I remember, like the bell rang and they just started going at it, and everybody was going nuts for it, and yeah, that's definitely one of my more special DPW matches and DPW memories going that far back.
I mean, I first wanted to, before going into DPW, I wanted to ask you about your past filming wrestling experiences. How did it all start before Deadlock?
Um, so I've been doing this for a little over 7 years now. And as far as wrestling goes, my film background goes back to high school. I originally wanted to get into audio engineering, and they didn't really have any programs that provided that in my high school. So they were like, well, there's broadcasting, and you can make music videos in there. So I was like, my connection with music, I was like, I guess I can do that. And I did that for 3 years. And that's where I learned how to work cameras, edit. Um, at the time, they were editing with Final Cut, and then when I got to college, they switched over to Premiere Pro. So that was another learning curve. But it was in college that I was always a wrestling fan, and I didn't. That was around the time where the market for something like I do was starting to increase
Hmm.
because I saw other people like Harry Aaron, who I work with in DPW. He was doing highlight music videos for other companies, and Ray Zombie and like Kenny Johnson. They were popping off with documentaries, and Lucha Underground was coming up, and like I was like, whoa, like wrestling could be like this quality and like cinematic and like all that stuff. So um, there was a classmate of mine who I noticed at an independent show in Rhode Island, and he was working the audio board. And I talked to him. I said, like, hey, like, who do you talk to work here? And then he was like, oh, this guy. And then I messaged him on Facebook and told him I knew this person. This is what I do. And they just gave me the footage from their last show. And they said, like, edit this into something. And then I said, do you have a song in mind? They gave me the song. And they were so impressed. They were like, like, can you like come back next month and you can film if you want to? And I was like, yeah, I'll do both. And then I was with them for like uh on that was like that was October of 2018. I was with them until COVID hit. And yeah, that was like my first like real gig. That was like in a little theater in front of like 50 people, maybe. Like uh, not that comfortable at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a Providence Wrestle Party is what it was called. Shout out to them. And yeah, from there I just kind of like kept, because I went to a lot of indies. I was just showing face at like all of my local indies, networking with people, getting to know people from like people at the door, the referees, the ring crew, other fans, promoters, wrestlers at the tables, stuff like that. So it's just like I'll be here like as a fan, but then if I ever want to like promote myself to be like, hey, I also do this. If you need somebody to do this, then they could be like, oh, we know you. You're a good person. Let's see what you can do. So
And yeah, networking is it's gonna make it easier to like convince people to hire you. But
absolutely.
yeah, uh, so since we're speaking about like other wrestling promotions, in your opinion, like let's say in the past decade, what promotion do you think has the best film crew?
Like just purely independently or
Let's say independently.
okay. Um, so what I took a lot of inspiration from was a company called Riptide out in the UK. I
Mm.
even, as a stretch, reached out to them at a time where I probably had no business reaching out to them, just being like, "Hey, by the way, I do this," and I'm like, I was only like a year or two in, and why would they hire me at that point, especially being all the way in the UK? But they kind of took that like Lucha Underground type aesthetic. They were filming with really good quality cameras, and I think their YouTube is still up, and they have certain matches still on there. But the lighting was super dramatic, and the film quality was super cinematic. Um, and that's what think. I think it was that way because they specialized in that. Like
Mm.
they used like an actual like film crew. Um, they're no longer around, but yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from them back in the day. Uh, Enjoy Wrestling, from what I've seen, has done like very good with their film quality, just their overall production. Same kind of deal, very professional cameras, great lighting, great setup. Um, and then of course I got to shout out DPW just
Of
because
course.
like like there's no other company that I've worked for personally that has taken so much love and care into their production value than them, which is what I think makes them stand out and what makes them so special. Because the other thing too is that they were never looking to cut corners, like they were always looking to upgrade, by any means necessary. It's like they had a vision for the lighting, the audio, the video, the interviews, the pre and post matches, the video packages, what I do, so I think it was and because they come from where they come from, being YouTubers, podcasters, it's like they
Mm.
know the importance of that kind of stuff. So they were always like putting the most into that.
And again, in DPW's case, it's easily noticeable like how much they improved over the years. Like I started watching them in 2023. I think that was the second anniversary show. And over each show was better than the last. And I'm not even talking about all the in-ring quality, but also the stages, the like you said, the film crew, the post-match comments, the interviews, everything around, even the graphics, everything around DPW improved every show. they actually try to make every show better than the last one, and I think that that's what makes them special.
Yeah, it was always just a beautiful blend that nobody else was doing when it came to the in-ring and the production and the just everything. Like the shows, it's hard for me to sit down and watch wrestling, but if I could every now and then, I would go and watch the show that I just shot and be like, okay, let me see how this looks all together. Like let me see it with the video packages and the pre-match interviews and the post-match interviews, and it's just like everything just went so nicely, and like it all just had a good flow to it, and they always have since.
I mean, since you talked about it, first of all, do you usually rewatch the shows you film?
No, but mostly because it's hard for me to watch anything. Like I don't
Oh,
really watch much wrestling anymore. Like I'm always on the go. I'm always working. Even just TV shows in general. Like it's hard for me to just. It's kind of like either I binge watch something in a sitting or I just don't at
mm,
all. Like it's very hard for me to just have a second to just sit down and dedicate myself to something. Um, Back in the day, like maybe 5 to 7 years ago, like I was watching everything. Like I was keeping up with all the TV promotions, New Japan, Lucha Underground, like just indies, everything. And then, as I got older and busier, it's just hard for me to do such a thing. But every now and then, like if there's a really special show or like a match that I really want to rewatch, then I'll go back and I'll uh watch that. And like I said, just the full package of everything going together is just like I don't know, like nobody that's been doing it right now.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, that brings me to a question. Uh, does like working or filming a wrestling show actually affect your experience in enjoying the show, or are you just there for the vibes?
Um, like negatively, positively, either one.
Affected in any way.
Um, I mean, I think like it makes me enjoy it more because like there are some shows that I have filmed in the past, not with them specifically, but just any promotion where it kind of just feels like work, like I'm there to do my thing and that's it. Uh, but they have always done a good job of keeping the fan in me and bringing the fan out of me at times. Like when I have to like refrain from putting the camera down and just like smacking the apron because I'm so excited, after a certain match. But yeah, I mean like I'm right there, right in the you know, right in the zone. So it's just like I have the best seat in the house for everything. So I'm very privileged to not only get to film all that stuff, but just have such a good spot for everything and be able to see so many matches, so many great matches from that vantage point. So, if anything, I would say it's had a positive impact.
Speaking of filming specific matches, who's your favorite wrestler to film? Like
Uh,
ones with
I
creative spots, ones that look good that always look good on camera.
mean, consistently all time, it might have to be Speedball. Like, uh, there's nobody like Speedball. I was gonna say, I don't know if this was a question, but the Speedball something era of DPW was my
Yeah,
favorite
I get
time.
it.
It,
I actually locked in to watch every DPW. I mean, I was a casual fan. Like I watched only like the big matches. I especially loved when they got Kenta and Masato Tanaka. But when Speedball and something became a tag team, I locked in every month for every show.
That's how I felt too. Just coming from where I was, it's like I would look forward to what match are they going to have on the next one because I knew it was going to be match of the night candidate, match of the year candidate, and yeah, I mean, just what a great idea. Like I don't think they did that act anywhere else. So like to have something originally so original and so associated with DPW, like you can't say that oh, they brought that to this company and that company. Like Speedball something was just, like a lightning in a bottle that only happened at this company. And like they just made such a good team and they were already, good friends. So they had natural chemistry and yeah, speedball, like whether it was in tags, singles, whatever. And I had filmed him a couple years. I filmed him in the same time as like GCW, so
Mm.
I was going back and forth, and he's just on everything anyway. So
He was a workhorse. He was
right,
a
so it's
workhorse.
just like I felt like no matter where I went, I think I was at three different promotions in a weekend one time, and he was on all three shows. And I was like, you're the only person on all of these shows. But after a course of time, I would get to know the sequences and the movements and the
Mm.
like know where to go and know where to zoom and where to, because that's another thing too, is like some people have commented on um maybe the filming editing style that I've used. Like they'll say, oh, is that zoom you did, was that in post? And I'll be like, no, that was with my hands, like live. Like I kind of have to, if somebody's doing a dive from the top and I start super wide and I close in by the time they land, I'm tracking that with my hands, just kind of estimating, okay, this is how they usually do it. This is where they'll probably land. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. If I don't, you'd never know it because I just don't in the video. I'm like, I'm very picky about that. I'm like, this wasn't the way I wanted to, so I won't throw that in. But with speedball specifically, just um, they always had like my favorite moves, my favorite sequences, and even if you've seen them like a million times, you never get sick of them. And they would always throw something different in every time. And yeah, no matter what it was, I always enjoyed learning how to maneuver this or that from a different angle while also knowing, oh, they just did this, so now this is coming, and getting in position for that.
I mean, again, I was just about to ask you, in tag team matches where two big spots usually happen, how do you know like where to point your camera at? I mean, especially VIF matches because they usually have like two spots going on all the time.
Yep. First thing that came to mind is kind of like Miracle Generation matches as well,
Mm, mm,
where they have a move where Kylon does a superplex from one angle, and then Dustin does a dive from the other corner. And so if I want to catch both, the other thing too is I'm kind of locked in. I kind of have tunnel vision with my screen sometimes.
yeah.
So my peripherals aren't showing me like there's this one move happening in front of me, but then there's somebody in another corner. But because I know that move, I know to look out and be like, oh, he's going for the superplex. So Dustin must be in this corner. And so there have been times where I've had to like shoot the superplex, he goes down, and then I immediately shoot up there because sometimes it's so quick
Mm.
that I could miss it if I don't get in position right away. So, trying to capture both without making it look like jerky by being so close together. Um, that's one thing. It's hard to get. I feel like I just got to pick and choose. It's just like
Yeah.
whatever's in front of me. Because if I try to get both, I'm either not, or it's going to be like so
Mm.
wide that it doesn't.
And it doesn't hit the same.
Yeah. So it's just like if one person's doing something over here, one's doing over there, it's like I gotta just focus on one. There are times when people have done like double dives to different sides, and it's like, okay, I just gotta get one, you know, pick and choose. Like maybe like the live crowd will know that that's what happened. The VOD crowd will see it from
Mm.
maybe a wider angle, like the hard cam. But then like when they see what I do, it's just whatever's near me, whatever's in front of me. Just gotta focus on that.
I mean, I also have a question from Race who says hi. Uh, what is your favorite part of making the videos? Is it the filming or the editing?
Definitely the filming. Um, I think personally, like I don't think I'm the best at anything. Like to I think I'm a good shooter and a good editor, but I don't think I'm the best at either one. But I think the fact that I do both,
Both, and you do them very well.
yes, and that I edit it all together, and um like I there have been times where I've taken song recommendations and it's paid off even.
Mm.
Even the song choosing process I enjoy a lot when it's something that I've like really been looking forward to or something that comes up at the right time. But also I just like having ownership kind of everything that I do. Like putting into perspective, like it's my footage, my editing, my song choice, my style.
Yeah,
Um,
I get it.
Sometimes you'll see the logo or um, the little producer tag in there somewhere.
Mm.
So it's just like I don't feel like one thing or the other makes me who I am, but it's the combination of both, which not everybody gets to do, that makes it so special.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Like making a video and it being all made by you, like your footage, your editing, your song choice, that makes it way different.
Yeah, editing can get a little bit tedious at times, and the process can it takes a few sessions. Like sometimes I got to put it down, take some time away, come back with fresh eyes to just be like, okay, this one little section is like getting to me a little bit, so I need to walk away and come back after a while. But the filming process is where I get very creative or very in the zone, or if there's a sequence that you catch very like on point, like that this combo of stuff is happening and you catch everything like super crisp, then like it makes you um proud because it's just like, okay, you got it down now, you know.
Uh, do you have any favorite spot that you filmed? Specific spot?
um Man, recently, just off of memory, the at the Super Battle 2, kind of goes like what you're saying. There was the double dive off the ladder
Mm,
from Miracle Generation on GYV through the tables. They were both on a ladder on each side, but
yeah.
Dustin was closer to me, so I'm like, I'm just gonna focus on him. But I was right underneath him, so it made him look like a giant. And it kind of
Yeah.
gave an angle that I don't think the other cameras had. Not to mention, you got to squeeze through 5 people to do this because you got referees down there, you got other camera guys, photographers. So it's like I'm trying to get my shot, but I always like working around people. I don't like getting in people's ways. So like I'm like the camera is like up here, and I'm just like crouching like super low, and then I tracked it with his momentum coming down from the ladder as good as I could, and uh, I think I nailed it pretty well. That was one of them. Anytime I get a dive from underneath, that's
Mm,
something that it took me a long time to master the right way. But just thinking like Speedball's Ultimate Weapon, Leon Slater's 450 Swanton. Um, I think I've gotten like Starboy Charlie's Shooting Star Press, or multiple Shooting Star presses from underneath. It's just such a unique shot that doesn't get used. Like you can't use that in the real uh, final like edit of the show, if that
yeah.
makes any sense. Like that's an angle you're not going to see on
You're
TV.
not. Yeah.
It's just a
It's
very creative,
special
yeah,
one. Yeah.
it's a creative, unique cinematic shot that you can only see from that angle with somebody like me in that position to capture it, which is another thing I try to do. And I forget sometimes when I'm editing that nobody else has seen this yet, because sometimes you run into that. I compare it to in say you're a comedy actor and you're making a movie and you have to do a take like 5 times, and you got to say the same joke 5 times, and by the fifth time it's not funny anymore, and you play it back and it's like, okay, we got the take, but I don't know how it's going to land. But you forget that nobody else has seen this yet, And
And
then
it's just you who got used to it.
right. So that's the same thing as like when I'm editing and I'm looking over, so much footage, I'm thinking like to the point where, oh, this is a good shot to it's all right, like I think I did okay. But then person who sees it for the first time when it's all complete might be like, whoa, this is like the best video I've ever seen. Like this is your best one yet. And I'm like, really? This one? Yeah, like, did you see this one? Like that one's a little better, but um yeah. So sometimes you get that kind of like, I guess like imposter syndrome, but no, like you make it work.
I mean, yeah, again, you outdo yourself in every video. Trust
Thank
me. I'm not just complimenting you to compliment you. Complimenting you as a fan. It's you're you're great. You're
thank
really good. I mean, since Deadlock is going on hiatus soon, do you have any plans for the future? Any special promotions that you want to work with?
um so I feel like personally that and it's not just because of the news about them or prestige, but I do think that the indies aren't where they used to be. And I don't know if it could be a multitude of things. It could be COVID, it could be AEW signing a lot of people, or WWE signing more people. More people are getting signed because there's more places to work, which is great for everybody. But at the same time, um, it kind of leaves the independents in a state of rebuilding. Um, it's like on a team when somebody gets traded or somebody retires, it's like, okay, now we got to rebuild. And that's kind of the phase that I feel like that it's in right now. And of course, it's everybody has their own opinion. And that's not to say that the indies aren't doing good at all, because, after DPW closed, I saw a lot of people saying, support indie wrestling and then tagging a lot of their favorite promotions to check
Mm,
out, um, which is a great thing. But as far as like super indies or places
mm.
that are, like I said, kind of popping off, to the point where it almost dips into the mainstream, I don't really think anybody's doing that right now. In terms of the United States, I feel like I've done, I would say like all of them that were on my radar. I've
Mm,
done DPW for years. I've done prestige shows. I've done West Coast Pro shows. I've worked GCW. I've done uh, Arrival, and this Friday,
mm.
I'll be doing their show with Revolver. Revolver was another one that was on my list for a long time, and I was never able to make it out there. So the fact that I'm doing the collab show, uh,
That's good. Yeah.
that kind of like checks the last one off the list. So after that, my next goal, I don't know if I have any specific promotions, but just venture out more if it's possible. Just go outside the country, um, travel a little more out there, have opportunities out there. Um, of course, TV would be the
Yeah.
ultimate, you know, if I can get into any of those promotions. But, I just got to keep grinding away, and time will tell. You know.
Time will tell. I mean, just like you said, the indies will always heal and they will always build up again. We saw when ROH almost went out, PWG also when they went out a few years ago. We lost some super indies and we had DPW. I think that was it continue like Eric Stevens said in his tweet. Deadlock is the continuation of ROH. And I think that whenever a special indie closes, there'll always be a chance for another one to come in and take its place. And like you said, the indies aren't dead, but they're just not in a really good place now, and it's time for a rebuild.
Absolutely, 100%.
I wanted to ask you, like, uh, how did it personally feel for you after the announcement got made last week that DPW is shutting down soon? Are going on hiatus to be more specific.
So I got the call from Johnny a few hours before the announcement was made, um, which I very much appreciate and, feel honored from them to, get the call first, before just, outright seeing it because, of course, after my notifications just like blew up like crazy. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it at all. I wasn't expecting a phone call either because I don't normally get those from them. It's usually just text or DMs, but I knew it had to be something big. And yeah, it was a shock. It was a big shock. I don't think I had the right words at the time. I don't think I had the mental processing. I was actually over my grandmother's house at the time with some family, and so like I went upstairs to take the call, and then I had to take a few minutes to myself to just like compose myself before I went back down because it's like I didn't want them to be like, "Oh, what's wrong?" and then we get into it. I just kind of played it off until I left, and then I told uh, my girlfriend about it. But yeah, the next day, or the next like 2 days, especially, like hit the hardest. And seeing all of the outpour from everybody and the tribute videos, and including your own, and just like, as it was a very emotional time. It's like it really felt like the loss of a loved one. It's a very different for an independent wrestling company, I feel like, to get this much uh, love and outpour from the community,
Mm.
even for people who have never worked there before, that just know their reputation or just have heard from friends like, "Oh, I heard this place is like really good, or they treat you well," or, "I've always wanted to get there, but I never could." Um, yeah, and even this past Sunday, I was at the PWJ show in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, and there were fans and roster members like coming up to me being like, "I'm sorry to hear about DPW." Like, again, as like sending
It feels like
condolences, basically, like
yeah.
like as if I just lost a family member or something. It's like I feel like you don't see that every day. And it's just it's a big loss for the scene. It's a big loss for the community, for a lot of fans. I mean, I still listen to the podcast, so
We all do.
that's kind of like my extended connection, to the boys from there. Though it's gonna be weird, not seeing them on a month to month basis, and getting to call them my bosses. Um, best wrestling company I've ever worked for. Um, I don't want to jump to conclusions. Maybe the best wrestling promotion I'll ever work for, just in terms of vibes. It was just very unmatched. I said it in my post, but it really was a family over there. It really did feel like a reunion. And that's the thing, is like, I don't know when I'm gonna see certain people again because I wasn't familiar with the North Carolina area
Mm.
until I got there. And there's a lot of people, both talent, staff, from that area that don't necessarily come up this way. So, it's, you can always stay connected through social media and all that stuff, but there's the
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 feeling.
the irreplaceability of, that in person, face to face relationship, camaraderie, like just that you don't get it in every locker room, you don't get it at every promotion. And the crowds as well. Like, even when they traveled, they would bring the crowd with them. It's like you might see new faces, but the vibes were always there. It's just because they had fans everywhere. Like, they
Mm.
had, like, because I remember when they did like the live pod in Chicago like a few years
Mm.
ago.
I
Like
think it
there's a
was in
bunch.
2021, right?
Yeah, they
All out weekend, right?
yes, all
Yeah.
weekend. They had a lot of people pop out for that. So when they started running Chicago, I'm like, okay, I know they're gonna do well in that market because it's just, they already got fans there, which I feel like a lot of people don't understand. I don't know if they feel like, oh, this place just kind of popped up out of nowhere, or, um, like they book. certain big names like a Kenta or
Mm.
FTR or something like that. But they had a fan base way before the company was announced, and so that's why and at a very specific, a very niche fan base, like where I would go to. They're the only promoters that I know that have a line like for meet and greets after the show. It's like you don't see that anywhere else. When I went to West Coast
Mm.
and all the promoters were there, Will from Prestige and of course Scott from West Coast, and even there they had a line because they'd never been in that area and they were just
Mm.
hanging out, observing the show, watching their guys do their thing, and it was unbelievable because a lot of those people, they were just like me. They listen to the pod, they watch YouTube, they know those guys from way back when, and they were proud to see them doing their thing now with the wrestling promotion. And yeah, I mean the outpour, the tribute videos say it all. It's a big, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's just like it's a big loss.
It's fine.
And they're gonna be missed by everybody, me especially. I didn't know what my 2026 was gonna look like. Part of me still doesn't. And I, I I was even talking with my dad about this, just recently because I'm not good at keeping a poker face when I'm upset. So like he can realize, I've been moving different this past week, and he just kind of sat me down and had a talk with me about it. Like what's on your mind, and I was just telling him like I kind of feel a bit directionless now because it's like yeah, I still have my skills and my equipment and whatever, but with the landscape of how everything is, as we mentioned before, with indies and the downfall of super indies, it's it's hard to predict where a position for somebody like me could go because people can know me, know my stuff, think that I'm good, but they might be like, oh, but we have so and so who can do the same thing that lives 10 minutes away, not
Mm.
a 10-hour flight away or something like that. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but just like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I
Like,
get it.
why would they bring me, across the country when, it just doesn't make any sense in this kind of economic state and just where everything is. And um, like, I try not to take it as like, disrespect, but more so
Mm.
just logistics.
It makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
just what makes sense. But it just makes it that much harder for somebody like me who feels like they've kind of, I don't want to say like exhausted the market, like just kind of in the Northeast where, like if I stayed, I was talking to somebody about this over the weekend where, like I wouldn't mind staying regional if I was like in North Carolina because there's so many people uh, established and up and coming that I've gotten to know through DPW because a lot of their crew are LeBron Cozone students from Firestar and like local North Carolina talent, and that's why they would sometimes get the opportunities on the kickoff shows, and yeah, like I like that scene a lot. Um, Very big on the West Coast scene a lot, um, but yeah, I feel like I've kind of worked every promotion out in the Northeast at least once, all the ones that I've wanted to anyway. So yeah, it just kind of puts a big question mark on what that'll look like. But I'm trying to just kind of take it day by day and not think so far ahead
Not
because
overthink it. Yeah.
it's wasted energy.
Yeah, I get it. You shouldn't overthink it, but yeah, I mean, just like you said, DPW was like a family to you, to the wrestlers, to the whole crew, and even the fans. I mean,
Yeah.
funny story. Uh, One called Manders and Mad Dog Conley, also Eric Stevens. I'm currently training to be a wrestler, and I DM'd them for advice, especially Eric Stevens. These guys, like, they know how to connect well with the fans. I mean, I've been a fan for the three of them ever since the ever since Eric Stevens came back, and from from like I think May or April. I've been a huge Manders and Conley fan because first of all they're great wrestlers. Second of all, when I asked them for advice, they actually helped me. I mean, I've worked with them too on a couple of show posters. I even designed the poster for their Jersey Championship wrestling match.
That's awesome.
And I mean, what I'm trying to say is like the DPW. It really felt like family. It really felt like family. We
It
all felt
was.
connected. And when the news hit, you can see now. I think the tweet got 4 million views, if I'm not mistaken.
It was up there. I remember last time I saw it, it was like at least over two and a half. And
It,
so just like for an indie promotion post of any kind to get that kind of traction, like it wasn't a video, it wasn't anything, it was just a post,
yeah,
So like it caught the eyes of everybody, and I'm sure shocked a lot of people and touched a lot of people. And when this next one comes up on December 12th, I'm hoping that they take advantage of the opportunity, not just because it's the last one, but because of um, how they're doing the ticketing and the pricing and
and the
uh,
cause they're doing it for.
the cause, of course, too. So um, it's going to be very bittersweet. Like it's going to be very emotional, but it's also going to be a big celebration as well. Um, and yeah, all those guys that you mentioned, they're great. Eric Stevens, he's like an encyclopedia. He knows so much about so much. I'm so happy to see him come back in the way that he has and show out the way that he has in every DPW match that he's had. And I wish him the best going forward as well, because I know he was kind of tweeting the same kind of deal
On
of,
and off, yeah.
yeah, like he kind of got back into wrestling because of DPW, and he kind of just got here and now it's being taken away. So, but I definitely think that people will recognize that and, give him the opportunities to do what he,
He's got some bookings, I think
yeah.
he's booked on 16 karat gold.
Yeah, I was gonna say I seen him
Yeah.
got booked in Germany. That's awesome. And then Mad Dog, I mean, both of them, Mad Dog and Manders, I love them both. But Mad Dog is probably like my favorite wrestler right now, like independently or otherwise. Like all his matches, especially in DPW, have always been bangers. And just the presence when he comes out, it just gets me fired up. It's similar to a Jake something where it's just like they just make their
Yeah.
entrance fired up. I'm ready to go, you know. Um, but yeah, everybody was just, it was never, overly dramatic or negative or anything like that. I only have good things to say about DPW, the locker room, the staff, everybody.
Yeah, it was all great. So, before we end it, any shout outs you want to give out?
Um,
I mean, anyone. It can be anyone.
I just want to shout out from everybody from DPW, from James, Tony, Johnny, the Super Jaw crew who take care of the film, the producing, um, any editor who's ever used my footage, for a hype package or a highlight video or a tribute or anything. It means a lot to me that like I love seeing what other creators can do with my stuff and basically make me look better in the process by using something I did to make something like extra great. Uh, Harry Aaron, Chris Downey, um, two photographers that have been with DPW for as long as I've been there. Um, yeah, everybody who's ever wrestled there, everybody who's ever come to a show, you know, I just want to thank you guys for making it as special as it has and keeping it going as long as it has. And as everybody, you can hope that it's goodbye for now, not forever. But regardless of what happens, it's just like, you know, uh people are going to look back on this time period and this stretch of 4 years that they had as a promotion like very fondly for the foreseeable future. When people talk about greatest runs or greatest indie promotions in a nutshell, in a little time capsule, the same way people look at the same way that I, look at like the early 2000s ROH or
Mm.
mid 2010s PWG. you know I feel like people are going to stumble on DPW, or you're going to see, like YouTube videos about like the history of DPW or what was DPW,
I'm planning to make a video about DPW after
like
the after the December show.
it's it's happening. So, it's definitely one of those places that are that special to dictate all that kind of content.
Yeah, it really was. Anyways, thank you, Tony. It
Have-
was it was really fun having you on. I just want to say that you're amazing, and I really hope 2026 it becomes better than 2025 for you because you're really, really, really talented. I mean, as a video editor, I really love using your footage, so that says a lot. So thank you for coming on here, and thank you to everyone watching or listening. I really hope you enjoyed this. I'll leave Tony's accounts all in the description. I'll also leave mine, and thank you all for staying here.
DPW, yes, it is a wrestling promotion that we are starting.
Deadlock Pro Wrestling, it has been in the works for, I'd say we had real talks about it for like 6 months.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had that time.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, DPW is real.
Real.